Sweet Jesus Radio. I believe my boy Eddie Groove had some questions. Give me those, please.
Yeah, so he had like 2 or 3 questions.
Yeah.
All right. What's your take on the Oxford comma and best place to grab a burger / brew in El Paso?
I'm going to take that first one. Oxford comma. Oxford comma. Tito, what's the Oxford for the listeners that may not know what the Oxford comma is?
All right, let's see if I can still read this shit.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, so a comma used after the item in a list.
Penultimate.
Say that word.
Say that word?
I just
penultimate.
Okay, yeah, there you
Second
go.
to last item. That's what penultimate means.
All right,
Second
cool. There you go. So a comma used after the second to last item in a list of 3 or more items before and or. So as an example, Italian painter, comma, sculptor, comma, and an architect. So there's a comma
The
before
comma
the
right
and.
before the and or but.
That was Da Vinci.
Let me say this about the Oxford, comma. Corona's kicking in. Corona, comma, Shinerbach, comma,
Cinco de
Tecate,
Mayo,
comma, and
Adderall.
The last time I was here, I was
Hey.
very nice young lady gave me some Adderalls. Okay, so anyways,
Where to plug?
Oxford, comma.
You crush it?
Let me say, no, it's suppository stuff.
Oh, shit. It's hard.
Those are the fun ones.
Chug. The
Exactly.
chug.
I just want to, get a little
Talcum powder.
tickle.
Talk to him, Lord.
So, Oxford, comma.
Yo.
It's totally unnecessary. It's completely trash. And let me just say this. Again, it's that comma right before and. The and already implies or is an indicator of a pause. A comma is not required. So if you're a fan of the Oxford comma, if you like the Oxford comma, you are an enemy of being efficient. Enemy of efficiency because you're adding something. It's redundant in a sense. You have a comma and the word and or but or. Okay? So you're an enemy of that efficiency. Oxford comma? More like Oxford, come on, son.
I never went to Oxford College or anything, so I've always learned there's no freaking comma before.
Here's the if you look up the history for nerds again, nerd talk for the nerds out there. That the Oxford comma was actually considered proper for years, maybe decades. Probably decades. Yeah. When I was in school, I can't tell you the year, but I remember junior high, maybe high school. At some point, they said, because back then they would make announcements. They would say, it's no longer needed. And then I think 90s, maybe or somewhere recently, they said they brought it back.
Really?
Yeah, it's this big old
comeback.
It was, trying to reinvent itself.
Fuck yeah.
The Oxford comma was appearing on podcasts, had its own reality show.
They had a T-shirt for sale.
So it's one of those things. Correct me if I'm wrong. When I post this episode,
Fucking
Eddie,
Trump.
that's a question from Eddie Groove Acosta. When we post the episode, give us your feedback in the comments or wherever else. But I believe it came back. And to me, the English language and all languages break their own rules and whatnot. So it doesn't matter. My only point is you already have that conjunction. I think it's a conjunction word. And or but there. You don't need both.
Yo,
It makes it obsolete.
As a part-time writer and journalism student and communication student, chill, bro. I'm throwing degrees at y'all.
I think you dropped a degree down there.
Pick it up.
I always carried on me, bro. You don't know.
Oh, mate, you look.
Shit. The way I was taught growing up and even in school, like before an and, that shit's like optional. To me, I don't use it. I just and whatever fucking.
You don't use the Oxford comma.
No, I don't. Like just the and, like you said, it implies a pause.
It's almost redundant if that's.
But I'm always a fan of like proper punctuation and grammar because fucking El Paso's illiterate as fuck.
Oh, man.
So like, and anything that helps these motherfuckers learn how to read and shit and fucking spell.
That shit just
comma's not gonna teach them how to read.
That shit just doesn't look right, man.
It complicates things.
Yeah, it looks weird on paper.
It confuses the fuck
It looks
out
weird
of
on paper, but just it annoys the fuck out of me seeing people like on Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
It just looks
writing
like a
me some
typo.
shit, or you're writing me a fucking email or whatever, and it's just this long run-on fucking.
Oh, that's
sentence.
different. Yeah, when
just
there's no
any
periods.
Yeah, but like
And commas.
yeah,
they
and
have
it's
their
just
place.
one. I'm
a
like, I don't
comma
know what you're
abuser.
trying to.
I
Yeah,
think I
just
have
pause.
punctuation.
You're a comma chameleon.
Hey.
Any more puns, guys? More like Oxford coma.
Damn.
It's getting bad now.
Oh, also, Oxford Comma is a great song by Vampire Weekend.
Oh shit! There you go. Some nerd shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, look up the history of Oxford comma, guys. It's become a song. It's being discussed on the hottest podcast in
Coming
the
back.
world.
It's coming back.
Is there
Making a hot comeback. Like I said, it's actually going on a 30-city tour very soon.
It's gonna be at the Dialogue
title-
Brewery.
Dialogue Brewery, that's the first day.
Dialogue.
After that, it's gonna be at Chiquita's Bar, downtown El Paso.
Rosa's Cantina.
Hey, yeah, right now that's in the lead for a title of the episode. Oxford comma. Oxford, come on, son.
Oh, yo, Eddie Groove outside of
Sweet Jesus Radio.